Happy summer, everybody. I think it's finally here. Um, Everybody had a chance to review the minutes of the June 11th town board meeting prepared by our clerk. Anybody have any requests for additions, corrections, deletions? Hearing none, these are the clerk's minutes. Brings us to public comment, the first public comment of the night. Anybody in the public wishing to state anything? Don't all stand up at once. Connie.
Thank you for getting that mural finally placed.
Doesn't it look nice? Okay. Anybody else?
I had a lady come into the office and ask me to take their picture and just today. So
We knew that was going to start happening. You're going to want to mount a camera out there that you can just push a button.
Oh, yeah. So
Joel?
all the emergency responders did an excellent job on 7:40 today with the helicopter going out.
What happened?
Is it the struts?
Something else. Get a downdraft. Best guess that for about 5 to 10 feet. Low water and about 10 feet before he made it toward the lake. So they went in the water. Everybody got out safe.
All right, good.
And we got the all out here road down on the freeway in about 4 hours.
Got it out in the health department and the EC and everybody is happy. Supposedly,
Nobody got loose, so it was all good now.
and supposedly no lingering injuries, no fuel escapes. It's the best possible scenario for a helicopter going on the water.
Yep.
So I will second your comment on that. It's nice to have the people that we have in the area to respond. Anything else? Yes.
Comment on that. I'm dating myself because when the call came in, it came on South Lake House. So I said, oh, I want South Lake House on the other side.
Oh, sorry, Lake House.
Why?
What did you leave yesterday to get here?
You don't want me to take a poll in the room to see how many people remember the Seventh Lake House? That would be my fault for naming that building the Seventh Lake House, thinking it was a cute, yeah, whatever. Oh, sorry.
I should ask John, the more frequency of the odor at the sewer plant, it just overusage or?
I believe it was overusage, and we had some issues with startup with businesses coming online. And there was both odor in some of the establishments and at the plant. And when some of the stuff is sat dormant in some of the pump stations, it becomes an issue that I've asked Don to try and figure out a way to address. Are you having issues with your internet?
No.
Oh,
Humidity.
my screen keeps going crazy over here.
No.
Yeah, and the humidity doesn't help.
It doesn't help at all.
How many times have you noticed a bad problem?
It's more frequent
Constant.
over the weekend, and that's what I thought, maybe overusage but then tonight,
Tonight too? All right, I'll circle back with Don. I know they were also doing some work up at the plant, and that might have set off some timing on some of the stuff.
I understand, when the equipment comes with me. It's out, bound to.
Yes.
Might be, if the stuff is sitting in a pump station for months or through the winter or something like that, that maybe we could just flush them so that there's just water in there. If they're not being used at all. I don't know if that's which ones are like
Yeah,
that.
but this is different from what she's saying right now. This was over the weekend. I will
so
back with Don and see if he's got anything tracked up there, but I know we just paid a big bill on replacing a couple of pieces of equipment up at the plant. My comment earlier was build a sewer plant. It'll be fun. It's been good for the downtown area, but it's not without its issues. And I apologize. Again, that's my fault. What's that? Okay, thank you. Anybody else in the public? Moving on, highway. The one you sent me, you said was last month's.
Yeah, this morning, the one I sent you, but I think he sent me another one for this month. Yeah, here I go. Okay, for July, haul garbage and recyclables, check roads after rainstorms, mowed town, county, state, roadside grass, Townsend Trails and Toby Trail, got Rock Dam Road and Moose River Plains opened up to the traffic, striped lines at the town hall, lots between churches, fire hall and transfer station, built more of the Elaine Townsend Trail from Deer Meadows to Kelly Road. There are going to be a couple of sections of this path that I recommend that we pave because of the water washing from the state road. Been getting reports of golf carts driving on the Townsend Trail. Do we feel no motorized vehicles signs are needed? Pushed off the stump dump, cleaned up tree that fell on Gilbert Road, left wood for homeowner per their request. Coming up, haul garbage and recycling, cut grass along roadsides, Townsend Trail, Toby, striped Fern Park, basketball court, school, and rear of fire hall. Didn't have enough paint to do them when we striped the others. Pull rocks and spread gravel on Uncas Road, ditch sections of Uncas Road, start hauling gravel in the Moose River Plains for our projects in there for the DEC, and he will list the Ford pickup on Auctions International between now and the next meeting.
I think it would be a good idea to have the no motorized vehicle signs for the trail.
Never thought of him before.
Yep,
That parts are no.
and most of those carts that I've seen, they've all found a way to finagle license plates on them. Some of them,
They should be on the
Then
highway.
they're driving on the highway.
They should be,
driving
yeah.
on there.
as much as I don't want to see them driving on the highway, if they're in spots where they can stay under the required speed limit for them, it's a different speed limit if I'm not mistaken,
Less than 35.
less than 35.
Yeah,
But the liability for those cars on the trailer.
Not good for other, and that's not what we told the people.
Good policy. It's a good thing.
Bikes are bikes.
electric bike.
Good way to clarify it.
Yeah,
That's where you're gonna have your sticky wicket there.
it's been an issue in the Moose River Plains already. That's why they're trying to look at allowing possibly motorcycles in the Moose River Plains, which to me is a bad idea. That's the DEC and the state of New York. So I don't know. I don't know what the answer is on that. Because, you go to pull over the electric bike and all of a sudden they're going to start pedaling. I don't know. All right. Transfer station.
Station open 7 days a week, 8:30 to 5:30, closed from 12 to 1 daily for lunch. Had an issue with the garbage compactor, tried to fix it on our own, but couldn't get it 100% right. Called Mullen. They sent a tech and of course it didn't malfunction.
When they came, of course, that's way it goes.
The recycling has been here since we put the tables in there. The C&D has been better. Please only put cardboard in the cardboard bin. We have been getting complaints from the transfer station in Indian Lake of paper, styrofoam, and golf balls in our loads. Please enter the building so that the attendants can see what you are bringing in and they can tell you where it goes if you aren't sure. If you have any questions or need assistance at the transfer station, please ask the attendant. They are there to help.
We've also received a couple of correspondence requesting us to change the hours back to what we had last year. I know myself and I think Dan, we've heard from more than one of the businesses and a couple of local residents that they'd like us to go back to the hours before. I hate playing ping pong with the hours. We established the hours that we had before during COVID. We were trying to keep our employees separate so that, they wouldn't be getting sick. We kind of stuck with the hours coming out of COVID because they seem to work. I know we've debated this at the last 4 or 5 meetings.
It's been a while.
Been a while. I told a couple of them that I would bring it up again tonight, see what the board's pleasure is. Myself, I would like to take it back to the COVID hours. I don't know what the rest of the board feels.
I've always liked the longer hours personally. Morning crowd's happy, the late crowd's happy. We're just moving Pete to a different department or moving him back. We're really not saving money. You gotta look at it that way. You're just move the guy somewhere, this building or that building.
So we'll approve the other building.
During the summer it would, but during the winter, we might still have the same availability of playing with where we place things. And when it was first proposed to me, it was along the lines that it would be nice to have Pete help with the shoveling and some of the other things in the winter that we needed. It was, and now for the summer, it was for some of the projects not projects, but the events in the park and whatnot. I think that there might still be a way to play with the hours a little bit, but the focus for my asking for the discussion now is just the longer hours at the facility at this point. We played with it, so what's that?
6:45.
Yeah.
Eight. You,
I thought that the reason we did it was to save money, and obviously we're not, but we're just moving a person to a different department, so
yeah, well,
we're not saving.
we're utilizing hours in a different way.
Right.
And we're able to take a person and use them in different departments that we couldn't do before. I'm sticking by what I think we should be doing. I still think whatever you do, that closing way early for lunch and at the end is not
Correct.
what you should be doing. You should have the 5-minute thing.
The 5-minute thing is a good
But
idea.
but I think that it's working. I realize people had to adjust. It's not, some people can't really figure it out, I guess, make it work within their frame. And I feel bad about that. I got a lot of garbage too. I make my thing work. So, that's my thoughts.
I think leave it as they are now. I think it's made the best of both worlds, and we are using people in other areas. I think leave it the way it is.
We obviously have a split board.
I'll move the motion and we make motion back to the old hours. Vote on it and see how it goes. I totally understand everybody's got their own opinion.
Second.
Second it. Further discussion? All in favor? Aye.
I
Opposed?
Nay.
Nay.
Well, I'm,
Nope.
yeah.
3 to 5. I believe we're going to be going back to the other hours.
Okay.
I believe with 5 minutes before lunch.
And what are the
5
other hours? So we can make sure that we're clarifying this.
8 to 7, I guess. Correct.
6:45.
6:45.
Well,
6:50.
6:55,
Yeah.
55.
right?
We closed from 11:55.
correct.
So
So
yeah. to 1.
1 o'clock. Lunch will stay an hour.
She figured it out quick.
Thank you, Adele.
Lunch will remain an hour.
Bottom line, this is the most complaints we got were, again, it was adopting to the new hours, but it was the fact that there were less hours. And prior to being able to get to work or after work, being able to get stuff, and I get it, we don't do garbage pickup. To me, we need to have the facility open. We've had the vote. It's 3 to 5. We'll let
Come November though, it goes
back. We're going to be doing just 4 days. We'll just have 4 days.
4 10s or 5?
4 10s.
4 10s.
4 10s. Those are the COVID hours with the adjustment on the lunch and leaving at the end of the day.
closed Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday.
What she said. I honestly don't mean to make light of it. And Peter, I know that you're probably not a fan of this, but we'll find a way to make it work. Yes, sir.
Those hours 7 days a week.
For the summer, yes, until fall.
So,
Friday and Saturday, right?
Yep. And this will start next Monday. We usually give an adjustment, or do we?
I would start it on a Monday. I know that your pay starts on a Sunday, but
Yep.
I think that, just people's clarification, starting it on Sunday is kind of weird, but it might work better for your payroll because now your times are going to be different.
And it also gives Sean time to change the sign.
So, and for more clarification though too, that means Pete can't work for parks, but like he was.
No.
So,
And unless we find some other way to maybe slide somebody around up at Highway. And I will have that conversation with Sean. I'm hoping to be able to do that, but I can't promise that. Sean's not here. And I didn't know what the outcome was going to be tonight.
because lack of parks That's my office.
I'm with you. All right. Communications. Quite a bit going on with communications, actually. Andy, you want to take this? Oh, did I skip you again? Oh my God. All right, Living ADK, Robin.
Nothing being intended.
I know. But we'll speak up for myself. So our help wanted ad for the new community resource navigator position is being finalized and will be submitted through various print and social media sources soon. Link to the full job description will be accessible on the site homepage. Farmers market's going well, and I know we're assisting several Inlet residents through our nutrition assistance voucher token program. The Alzheimer's caregiver walk on June 21st was a big success, in my opinion. We had great weather this year, weather time. And we had about 25 to 30 people participating. We're ready to put a thank you in the paper about the event, what we raised, and all our appreciation to the local businesses that donated prizes for the raffle. And we really appreciated the Inlet Parks Department as usual for putting out the tables and then obviously putting them away when we were done with them. The Inlet Tower Fund final disbursement was made to the town of Inlet, and the account will be considered closed at the end of July. And then the wanted to make sure that you all knew Mohawk Valley Health System Health Clinic in Old Forge has extended summer hours. Mondays and Fridays, they will be open until 7 o'clock, and Saturday from 8 to noon. So again, Monday and Friday till 7 and 8 to noon on Saturday, and walk-ins are welcome. The one thing I don't know, which I will get back to you, if they're gonna have X-ray available on those extended hours too. I thought about that today. A lot of people would maybe need an X-ray for
Because that and the blood work operates on a different time schedule.
Yeah,
Yeah, the blood work would definitely not be,
Yeah,
yeah, the blood work's gotta be in by a certain time.
I didn't know if those texts.
Yeah, it doesn't matter how late they stay open, I don't think.
right.
Okay.
I think it's more,
Yeah,
lab normal on an X-ray though.
And that part about welcoming walk-ins is huge.
Yeah.
Thank you. Didn't mean to skip over you. And also Fern Park Master Plan, who, Tim, Adele, which,
Tim's gonna tag.
right, tag Ray.
A couple of things are really very happy being part of this committee. I think it's bringing something that we started a long time ago, that I've been involved with to the gates of we're gonna get something done. And not to say that things haven't been done. So I've been thinking about this since I rejoined the committee, etc. Since 21, last 4 years, there's been a whole ton of effort up there, to the good. And to the softball field, the trails, to the PR, and it just there's a lot of people I see. I'm on the corner there. I see them going in and out. I see groups of kids going in and out, and basketball, soccer, and the youth doing youth things, whatever. But there's a lot of good things going on there. And the other day, not to drag it out, but for the Black Light Challenge, they had the party here at the park. I'm sitting up there eating a burger in the pavilion, and I'm looking out there, looking at about 3,000 people in cars, and the music and everything going on there, and a lot of happy people. And that park is perfect, for a lot of stuff like this, that we can do a lot of good things to it. We came in 21 with a bunch of recommendations to things that we wanted to do to the park to enhance it. We've gone through and updated all of that. And really, there's 2 new big players since 21. Tony Harper's has got a softball team that plays up there. It's the second year that we got 2 teams in Inlet, so it's not just Screaming Eagle down here, and that's the premier. They play under the lights of the scoreboard and everything else. But so they're up there, they're having a blast doing it, and then you got the Mighty Loons. Need ice time. And we've got a pavilion up there that, as you all know, is
way maxed out, way old. So it's come to the point now where we've had, we used some donation money where we've actually had the flat land survey. And so we know what we got now, besides of the physical things of the buildings and stuff like that, and the hill and all the trails. But now we've got something that we can start putting together with to go out to get an architect, and so it's okay, now, what are the possibilities? Do we move the pavilion? What happens to the softball field? We need more park. We want a dog park. Where's the pavilion for cookouts? And that's what the next phase of this is. This document we put together so we could go get some funding. And one of the things that struck me in the last couple of meetings is all of a sudden we're talking about grants that we're missing. We don't have this piece of paper in place because we can't quite apply for it. So really, we're up to the point of, and we're testifying to it, we've got to do the wordsmithing and putting up the document. But we had to get to the point here of being able to bring it to you all. Want to promise, what you guys did for the Arrowhead, which is go out, get the park plan of the architect. Let's, figure out how to put this stuff in there and then start ticking off the next things. And I'll tell you, over the last couple of years, with Mike, and they ticked off a lot of good things. They made that field look really nice. Its trails are awesome up there. And I remember coming here in 2017 with broken ribs going, what the heck? That's when I started getting involved. Because I saw the trails up there. So we're up to the point where we need to finish the document. We need to have a public hearing. We need to get this thing in place so we can get out there and start getting some grants to get the architect, figure out how much the architect's going to cost. Could be, depending how much we want them to do, could be a bigger nut or a littler nut. But there's money out there, and we need to get to that point because that place, I'm looking at it and just seeing what's going on in the last couple of years. It's exploding, and we've got something good going on up there. And I think we want to do the right thing, the right next thing, because the pavilion can't stay. It's not handicap accessible. Period. For that reason alone. And it can't be made it very easily. So, we've got to do some things. We've got to get real about it. I'm real happy with the group that we've been working with, and I thank everybody's time for that because I think we've got to come back to a good document. And I think I said everything that's supposed to say.
We open a public hearing on the.
Well, like you said, this isn't the final document. What I've attached here tonight, I got to make this is the first public draft.
It's the first one we've sort of allowed.
Because I kind of made it public.
Yeah, so can be public, right? I'm
Yeah.
just, like you said, tweaking the wordsmith and the formatting but most everything that's in there is what we've all.
It's pretty much in place, I think.
Right.
I believe it.
Right.
Yeah, and the timing is critical because I know Lake Pleasant just got a huge grant and put in pickleball courts and are making improvements to their recreation facilities and timing is right. So
There's money out there. There'll be more money next year again because some of these programs are renewable, if you will. So I'm excited about it because I think there's some good things that can happen over there.
And I know Robin can find us money tomorrow for getting the architect.
That was my next question.
Because quite honestly, that's what we did. I think going as far back at the Deb Carhart with getting the Arrowhead Park master plan and getting Wendell to share and to spearhead that.
You did a really nice job.
Because it's not cheap. But this is the first step, and then that's the next step, and then we've got something.
Then we can start building because there's no sense building something or moving something without a big vision.
All right.
And drawing this thing.
We need 30 days for that hearing.
Can you have the next document done for having a public hearing? Are we ready for a public hearing on it?
Yes.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
I think we.
And I would say let's we do have 30 days because the next meeting is on the 13th of August. So I'd like to schedule a public hearing for 7:45 on the 13th of August. There's no sense waiting until September.
No.
And you get the summer crowd. You get the summer crowd.
Yeah, that's what all of a sudden we realize where we are in timing because all of a sudden it's July.
Yeah.
Yeah. Perfect. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you. All right. Now is the time for communications. Okay. Did you want to take that one, Benny?
I'll start.
Thank you.
A lot of it is kind of
it's probably too detailed because I'm actually been involved helping do some work up there, but Hamilton County continues to keep plugging along. Essentially, all their equipment is physically there. They're still having a little problem with access to the top of the tower, which we're actively working on their side. We did get a formal visit from the contractor for Herkimer County, and took pictures, measurements, made up a parts list actually while they were there. And then we're able to talk with both, people from Inlet, representing Inlet, and the county, Hamilton County. So that's good news. They still won't probably do anything until the legislature actually votes affirmatively on the bill that they had in front of them to.
Right. Don Hill said that was coming up.
Yeah, it should be very, very soon. Great momentum. It's good. Hamilton County's been excellent in supporting absolutely everything that they can to do on their end, including using their own employee time to help with the Herkimer County side, which is great. They are good partners. Getting into some nitty gritty stuff, the warmer months are starting to be a little rough on the shelter. We did not complete the AC project. We were able to jury rig the circulator fans in the building, so they're operating, and there's good flow. It's actually not terrible, but that we're talking 500 grand worth of equipment. It's worth an investment to make sure they don't blow up. Yeah. Their maximum operating temperature is around 80, 85, but their comfortable temperature is more like below 80, which is not hard to achieve, really. It's pretty cool, no matter what. Even the hot days, it was cool. We were up there, and just with the doors open and the fan going, it was pretty decent. We kind of decided a lot of the electrical work is already done. There are two full-size commercial heat and air units. I thought they were just air, but they are also electric heat in the winter. So they slightly more efficient than probably some baseboard stuff, but not a lot of heat's needed. It's not crazy in there. But we'd like, so what can I do?
Yep.
Just tell you
Yep.
what we're interested in, then
Yep.
we'll make our proposal.
Yep.
So we're interested in having them evaluated by a professional. And it's a little easier to have the town pay for that evaluation because I believe it would fall under some financial things that are better for the town to do it than the county. The county might end up go ahead and doing the work if it was decided, but we'd like to get an estimate if something was even needed, or if we just need to plug them in and turn them on. The equipment's all there. They do have to be rewired for 60 amp. They're 220 60 amp each one. They don't run simultaneously. They're backup of each other, so they only
Stagger when they kick off.
So if one fails, the other one it can take over, which is a great system. Alternatively, we can discuss something later on, but we might have to move quickly if it gets hot in August. But or they might just say, hey, we have to turn the equipment off until next season when we get it all set. They don't want to damage anything. Obviously.
I would get somebody up there and get a quote.
That's what we'd like to do, and that's when take over
Yes.
that part. And then I'll just so I can complete. Eagle Wireless has put in some networking equipment that will have. There's two 360 cameras that cover the entire property inside the fence. And Hamilton County requested a particular thing that they wanted a camera focused on their tower with the ice load in the winter to make sure that there was nothing loaded up on any of the dishes or their antennas, so that they could preactively, go up and hit it with a stick. I don't know what you do. I mean,
I don't know how to. Good question.
Freaking ice. I wouldn't go near it if I were them, but they they might have a problem. So we're going to put in 4 cameras, actually 5 cameras total. And with that many up there, we'll probably put a recording device on site that would alert someone to pick whether, like John Ralph kind of stepped up a lot, or, you and, or, we could even be included, but it would just let you know that somebody was on the premises kind of thing.
Very good.
And it would make everybody feel a little more comfortable.
Very
That doesn't need any discussion. I think we were gonna go ahead and do that anyway. That was already in the plan, I think.
John, do we need to do better for?
The Lakeview Loop Trail Improvement.
Oh, yeah,
We're going to miss that.
I got it under trails,
Oh,
so it's coming up.
I'm sorry.
That's okay. Anything else on that?
No, that's just great. It's really great news. So, and thanks everybody for all of the help that everyone's done to get to this point.
You as well.
Well-
And we hope to, at least, we hope to be able to support at a minimum the 90 miler coming up. The communications for that, so. We'll even have a temporary antenna put up. Hamilton put up a temporary antenna for it. It's not fully wired in, so he's got to shimmy up there and finish it, but. There will be something on the air for the 90 miler, which is great because it comes obviously right through here. So this is the middle point.
You did mention something earlier that, you know, the usage was spotty over the weekend as we had the influx of people. The infrastructure is there for them to be able to handle it, or is it not enough cells on the tower?
There's too many people. They don't, a cell can't do 10,000 people.
It's just
It's not
can't.
possible. Not enough channels, not enough bandwidth.
Do they have enough base station capability?
There's too many. So they would just have to add so many sectors, and I'm sure they would not
Gotcha.
do that. It's not financially feasible. They'd have to add another layer of antennas and all, not totally separate infrastructure, I guess
And I'm assuming that the 4th of July weekend was the
that's it.
high
Should be the
point.
peak.
So
Should be
we'll
the peak.
monitor it through the rest of the year and see if we
I
have.
contacted T-Mobile, to get some evaluation, lines so that I could monitor both the 911 situation that was going on. And they're giving one to the fire department, ambulance actually specifically because the ambulance does not have it served past, you know, the gas station because they're Verizon. So it's a dual, the ambulance is a dual service. So if the other one fails, it'll flip over. You know, calls will go to racket kind of thing, and you're in the middle and get a phone call or you need to look something up. It's kind of handy.
It's a great idea.
And T-Mobile will go significantly out into the plains where Verizon has
That'd be
a
great.
big chance of doing that.
Be great.
Very
And
good.
if we decide to like it, it's only $30 instead of like $80 a month.
Very good. Well, at this point, thank anybody down the committee now that we've and point back to ADK living and closing out the bank account like that. That is a good time to say thank you for all the work handling that. And I'm also going to embarrass Joel and Bonnie for spearheading part of this project way back when with a nice gift. It does not go unacknowledged that is deeply grateful in the town, you guys doing that.
You planted the seed, really.
And I've made the comment more than once. Who would have thought raising the money was going to be the easy part?
Yeah.
But it was easy because of you guys. So thank you. And I like to joke that I've named the towers Joel and Bonnie. And Bonnie is the taller tower. So I wanted that in the record. All right. Planning board, anything updates?
Do you need to make a resolution or say anything?
Nope, to go get quotes, don't need to get quotes. And if this is a need for the equipment up there, it can just be done.
Got it.
Like, you know, if we need to have air conditioning so the equipment doesn't malfunction,
Got it.
get it done. Planning board,
We're still talking about signs, talking about noise. We're talking about, what's the other thing we're talking about, the new thing last meeting.
is that the thing I brought up?
Yeah.
Well, you know, we've had a couple of people making comments through different areas in the town where, you know, what is commercial use of a property? You know, on the lakeside, you know, there was one complaint on somebody that was running a heavy equipment contracting business in between two cottage colonies. And or, you know, the conditions on the corner of the Uncas Road with my ex-brother, I say ex-brother, my deceased brother-in-law's stables and or the contractors there. I think the corner of the Uncas Road is a different animal because that truly is commercial nature there. But you know, I brought it to the planning board. We're discussing it. I guess we don't know how to handle that or what to do with it. You know, we're hoping good neighbors are good neighbors, basically. But the noise ordinance thing is we also got some complaints on, you know, is it time to do something different with the noise? And are we able to bring in the police in to monitor that? Because the police schedule might not necessarily match up with what a noise ordinance would be, because we don't have 24/7 coverage for police. But we're discussing these
Yep,
things.
and we'll continue to discuss all of them.
All right, attached to the agenda is the Parks, Building Codes, Assessor Information and Commission reports. Anybody have anything here? I guess Adele's here. Anything you want to point out from the information office?
Just, Black Fly Challenge was already mentioned, that happened after the last board meeting and it was awesome. Like I said, thank you to the Parks Department, the Highway Department and all the volunteers that made that possible. 4th of July, it was a busy weekend. Everything went great. Except the flyover.
Except the flyover, but you're going to fix that for next year already, I see.
Already fixed.
Gotcha. I know Mary had me attach the Youth Commission report on there. Just want to remind people, we do have lifeguards, we do have baseball. We're lucky this year. The only part we're not lucky on is all these young kids, I call them kids, that are lifeguards. Apparently they all play sports back at college and they all have to leave the first week of August. So, go swimming now. It is what it is. I wish colleges operated on a different schedule, but I'm not in charge of that.
So
But
if you know anyone that wants a lifeguard, in August, to keep the beach open, that would be good.
But once the 9th comes and there's no lifeguard, it is no swimming at the beach. All right. Trails. We had the Townsend Trail update, but I'd like to thank the Highway Department for the work they've been doing, extending that out. Looks really good.
Yeah.
It's coming along. And having that will stretch for our portion from Eagle Bay all the way up to the 7th Lake House, eventually the Townsend and Toby Trail combination is going to be wonderful. And it's been a long time coming, but I want to thank the Highway Department for moving that forward again. We also have something from Mike on the loop, Lakeview Loop.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I made it onto the agenda, but I think I handed it out to the board.
It's on, you got it listed.
Well, I've got it on the agenda, but I don't know if I attached his recommendations or whatever, but he's got an okay from the DEC to move forward as long as we're not using heavy equipment on the state land. And looks like the actual construction work to improve the trail up on the Lakeville Loop, up on the top of the Fern Park, going to be about $16,750. He feels confident that he'll be able to spend down my budget lines in the park and possibly get some money from the Black Fly people. Don't know if he's actually talked to them yet, and he's not here yet.
We haven't scheduled another meeting yet. We had our one wrap-up meeting afterwards, but we usually take July off, so we'll have a meeting in August.
Yeah.
I'll come to that meeting
But I believe the board would fully support this, and it's nice to see working together with if the Black Fly group is able to help with us, and they have in the past.
Challenges.
What?
Is to do things.
Yeah. And one of the things that I think that Mike and I think some of the highway guys, they went out and they worked on that trail coming into the park this year and took out a ton of stones. So I'll second your comment that in each year, things are getting better and better up there. Yeah.
All the stuff that was rotten and green and junk up top, it's not there.
And I believe the bike people from the race had all kinds of compliments coming into the park this year from what I heard. So does anybody have an issue with not being able to move forward with
No.
his?
Did you have certain dates you needed approval on? I've got it.
I had his email, if I knew my mouth, so I printed it off. And
I'll read it. Fern Park Lakeview Loop Trail Improvements 2025 WPM Trails Project Estimate. The unimproved portion of the Lakeville Loop Trail is very difficult mountain bike riding experience and has been uneven footing for hiking and walking. Currently, it's in much more difficult riding hiking experience than the rest of the trail system. This is due to the ridgeline location, which has shallow bedrock, creating a high density of roots with little soil available. This trail is integral to the trail system as it completes a loop and can provide a cohesive trail experience. to bring this portion of the Fern Park Trail System into a condition compatible in difficulty and experience to the rest of the single track trail will take a dedicated effort. The improvement work would be difficult and arduous and best done with a mini excavator if possible. There would be approximately 1,600 feet of trail to improve and other adjacent trail work to be done to make the Lakeville Loop Trail a viable part of the trail system. The attached map shows the location of the main section of trail in need of work in yellow highlight. The actual construction work necessary to improve the trail would cost approximately $16,750. This price reflects the need to pay prevailing wage and benefit on publicly funded project of public lands. The price does not include any permitting or professional services. I think he had another attachment someplace else.
This email is what I was
Okay.
looking at.
The trail crew is very busy and has stated they have a few openings we can lock in, either the week of July 21st, late September, early October of 25, or we will have to wait till spring of 2026. I hope you can discuss this at tonight's meeting. Please let me know your thoughts as soon as possible. I would say I'd like to make the motion to move forward with it
I second it.
as soon as possible.
I'd move on if you got somebody to do
Second
it.
motion.
Further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? I think this comes on the heels of our report that we had earlier and everything else. This is just taking action when we can, and I believe the money is there. Did we hold the vote?
You did?
Okay. Must be time for me to go home. Town clerk's report. Actually, it's time for the town clerk's report. Tag, you're it.
Okay, financial report is $6,617.50, which most of that was the starting of cottage revenue. I don't know how much of this you want to go over.
I had it under
Proposals from
I had it under
the-
my report, but if you want to take it, go ahead.
Oh, no, you're all for it. This. And the last thing is we've got a couple of recommendations from our insurance company that I handed out to everyone. That we'll have to address before the next meeting. A few are law enforcement ones and something to do with welding areas, so that we have to address. I don't know, obviously, we're not addressing it tonight's meeting, but just handed it out to all. And then last thing, you kind of went over it, the Department of Health sent a notification to me stating that there's no danger to Seventh Lake residents on the lake with the accident this afternoon from the helicopter. There were 25 gallons of fuel they said may have spilled as a result of the crash, but then Don Townsend clarified that there was 25 gallons on board, not 25 gallons that spilled. So they don't feel there's any health risk, health dangers, health for the water or any residents surrounding the water. So I received that. That's it.
Right, on the insurance things, they've highlighted four things. 3 are required, 1 is critical. I'll handle the critical one right off the bat. It's recommended that police officers be provided with body cameras. Unless we can get a grant for those, we're not going to be doing that.
Which Cliff has applied for.
Right.
Yeah.
So, that may not happen in the time period that they may be requesting, but they call it critical, not required. The next one has to do with the oxyacetylene torches up at the highway. Sean's going to have to take care of that. They don't like our hollow core doors down in the police department. We'll have to have the building department take care of that. So that will be marked pending. And then the last one is that they want a dedicated server or securely segmented network for from the town's IT department for police. I think we have that
We have
already.
that. Yeah, he misunderstood that. one.
Yeah, I think that's that way.
Completed. So good. We've got 1 completed, 1 pending, 1
Okay.
waiting on.
What are we gonna do nothing about?
All right. That answer that?
Great.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Give that back to you. Along those lines, I'm pleased to report that our chief is now our chief. Chief Baker has passed his eligibility requirement, passed the civil service exam, and I am signing this document to make him our official police. He's no longer a, what did we call him before?
Provisional.
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 Got to make sure I'm using the appropriate civil service terms. He is now a full-fledged chief of police. Thank you, Cliff Baker.
Do you have to do a motion on that?
I make a motion that we appoint Clifford Baker, the full-time police chief, no longer provisional for the town of Inlet.
I second that.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? So carried.
Thank you.
Yes,
Okay.
Cliff's been a very nice addition to the town of Inlet. Let's see if we can keep him here a little while. No. Did you have anything else?
No,
Yeah,
I'm good.
So,
Thank you.
all right, the only thing I had is having a couple of issues with payroll. I am running for the town board supervisor one more time in November, but after that, somebody else is probably going to be taking over the job. And the training that Mary gave me is still not complete on doing payroll.
You play Mary.
No, Mary was very good. I believe it was me.
Okay.
I think it's quite honestly time that we take a look at using a full-time payroll service. And one of the issues is that New York State Retirement is changing its software, and the training on it is next level. And for doing it for the next 2 years, quite honestly, I'm not willing in taking the investment in time to comply with something that's not going to change one bit how our retirement is reported. But the companies that we've asked for proposals from will be able to do that. They've had the training. They're gold certified. We've got 2 quotes. I've got both of them right here in my hand, are both the same quote unless you've got them stapled together.
No, I stayed together.
Okay.
Yeah, it's behind the other.
That must be yours, Ben, and this is mine.
Okay.
Williamson Law provided a quote for $22.50 and then $10 check, annual support $2,600 a year, correct?
Mhm. And we don't need checks because we don't write checks.
Nope, we don't need the checks. North Country Certified Public Accountants submitted quotes for $7,800, and then a bunch of other things that they're already doing for us that don't apply to be put into that, correct? But then $1,200 and $1,200 for retirement reporting. Williamson Law is who I use right now. I use their software to do the payroll. To me, number one, they're cheaper, but number two, that's the software we're already using. It will be seamless moving forward. One of the things that I requested, Bonnie asked of both these companies, was an employee portal where they could go on and check their own information for, tracking their
Really good idea.
their hours. Neither company is there yet. They're not quite as big as the national company like Paychex or somebody like that. But trust me when I say that the quote of $2,200 or $7,800 with Paychex probably would have been around $25,000 a year, and it's just not doable for the town of Inlet.
Yeah, and I don't know, I know Paychex is big, but municipal is a whole nother world.
It
It is a whole nother world, and they may not even want to get involved in this. So this is a municipal company, it makes sense,
It makes sense.
makes
happy with them.
Yeah.
So basically, I would be asking at this point in time for a not to exceed offer of, say, $6,000 a year to take Williamson Law's proposal for doing payroll.
I'll offer it. I've been thinking we should do this for a while, so.
I'll second it.
It takes it off of your plate. But one of the best things about that, because I did it at the grocery store, I've done it at Ives the last couple of years, is get a payroll company because they do it all the time, every day. If you screw up one little stupid thing, like not sending your New York State withholding in within 10 days after it goes over $600, all this kind of stuff is fines. These people do it all the time. They're not going to screw up. And so just in what you save in mishaps is going to be half of that. So I'm all on board with it.
There's still going to be data entry that's going to have to be done here.
Sure, you still have, they still have to get the information, but it's the reporting part. It's that all those forms that go out to all those people, and then you add retirement in, which is another whole mess,
Correct.
you know?
What department has to directly deposit these hours to be paid to?
That's the next question on that. But I believe they're updating their software at this point in time and changing a bunch of things. Right now, I don't believe that's the case. There'll still be some data entry here. But again,
John, you probably.
Yeah, I think safe way to do it to start would be you would do it the way you're doing it now.
Mhm.
You still collect all of the stuff and send it to them. Then once we get it working, maybe the department head could submit it straight, but that, I wouldn't start that way. I would baby steps.
and again, if they're updating their software and they do get to the point where we do have the employee portal, my guess would be at that point in time, there would be also a department head portal too. So.
Right, because they're still gotta check it and then you still have to check it. So there's gotta be a,
All right.
Yep.
All in favor?
Aye.
I,
We did get a second.
I don't think we did. Oh, we did, okay. Okay.
Opposed? So carried. Thank you. I have nothing for executive session. This brings us to the last public comment of the night. Okay, I guess who's Ray's buying ice cream or Denny's buying ice cream? Somebody said we're buying ice cream.
Anthony.
Oh, Anthony Edith? Okay. Folks, thank you very much. Our next meeting is the 13th of August. Thanks for coming. Have a good night. Oh, motion to pay highway?
So moved.
second it.
Sure.
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So carried. Motion to pay general and sewer?
Offered.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Approved. Motion to adjourn?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.